Alright, what is up, fatties? It's John, also known as JoJo, and I'm glad you can make it here. First and foremost, I would like to thank each and every single person who watched the intro video. I'm quite glad it was well received, and I'm very excited to bring more content out for you guys. And actually, speaking about content, I'm pretty sure I have a firm idea of what I want to do for now. I'll be uploading twice a week, and the times are going to be depending on the training bracket that I'm completing within the week, just to sort of keep giving updates as to how the training is going and whatnot. I'm also interested in breaking down my body composition, and I'll probably have a video out on a weekly basis just regarding that subject alone, just to have a general idea of where my body composition is at and which steps I can take to sort of improve my situation overall. Which brings me to today's video. In this video, I'll be doing both, just giving a general update within the training bracket I finished within this week, and I'll also be breaking down some of the results for my body composition since I did get the results today. As for the gym, I started this week with a push-pull-leg split. I'm pretty sure that's what I'll be training for a while, continuously. Currently, the way I have it designed, I'm taking 2 to 3 days of rest between the muscle groups. So me personally, I'm not going for a particular rest day within the week. I'll just keep training. And if my body ever gets to the point where it's not able to take that amount, then I'll just look into completing active recovery for a week until I'm back to, completing each training bracket. As for the exercises that I'm currently doing, I won't be doing a video on these ones in particular because I am looking into changing my workout routine. Once I have my workout routine changed and I understand more or less what I'm doing for the sets, then I'll have a full comprehensive video about it, just so you have a general idea of what I'll be putting myself through and if it'll work for you comparing your body composition to mine. I don't know. So pretty much I'll just flat out complain. It just happens. I do not like doing assisted dips at all. I don't think I'll ever like them, but they're still part of my routine, and I'm still able to complete them. Do not get me wrong. I just really dislike them personally, so power to you if you're able to just, thug it out, no problem. And the thing is, I cannot say the same about pull day. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. It's a vibe. It's definitely painful every now and then, and one thing I have noticed is that my grip is definitely the limiting factor when I'm doing reps. So I guess just working on my grip, on and off the gym would probably be best as long as they don't overwork and stuff, My favorite day is hands down leg day. Despite the knee injuries, by the way, it's solely because in legs I feel like I can move a lot more weight and I just feel like a big boy. Like mass moves mass. And I don't know. I'm just really enjoying it. It's been really fun. Linear leg press has definitely been a blast, and I'm just optimistic about strengthening my quads, which will translate directly to my knee stability overall. So I think that's about as much of an update that I can give so far now, considering it is the first bracket of the week. I'm pretty sure that I'll have a lot more substantial updates as the days progress and we complete more and more brackets, since more differences will be noticeable, and I will be able to update you on, how my body is feeling, reacting, or just overall improving. With that covered, we're going to move on to the second half of the video, which is going to be breaking down my current body composition and just giving some general definitions within the analysis so we're all on the same page. As for the information that will be put up on screen, I'll do my best to cite all my sources in the description in case anyone does want to do a deeper dive after the video, or in case you just want to fact check, make sure that everything is right, you're more than welcome to do so. Alright, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I'll be looking over my results, and I'll also have a picture on the screen as well, in case you want to follow along. Pretty much my weight is currently at 317 pounds. I know that there's some decimal points right here, but I'm not really caring much about those units. I'll just be rounding the numbers for now for my purposes. My fat percentage is currently at 36%, and my fat mass is at 114 pounds, with my fat-free mass rounding at about 203 pounds. My muscle mass is 193 pounds, with my muscle percentage being 60%. My total body water is 146 pounds, and my total body water percentage is 46%. Moving on, we have my bone mass. It is currently at 9.8 pounds, so at around 10 almost. And my base metabolic rate is seeming to be at 2,900 calories per day, which would place my metabolic age at around 40. My visceral fat rating is 16, my BMI is 38.7, and at the end you'll also be able to spot my ideal body weight as well as my current degree of obesity. according to my body composition. So with the numbers being said, let's actually break down what each of them mean. I won't be going in depth in each and every category, considering that the name is pretty explanatory for most of them, but I will be going in depth in those that are a little bit obscure, just so we can shed light into the situation. The methodology regarding the results was via body scale. It's a body composition analyzer by a company named Tanita. I'm not sure. I'll just show it on. I'll just be showing it on screen in case anyone is interested. So the scale itself is pretty useful, and it's also integrated with other tools that allow for a more accurate reading. One of the functions is actually the ability to tear out the weight of the clothing that you're currently wearing so that your weight is a little bit more accurate, even if it's for probably 1 or 2 pounds of an amount. But the most noteworthy feature of the scale by far is that it has the capacity to conduct a bioelectrical impedance analysis, or BIA for short, which is pretty much the results that were on screen just now. So, to my understanding, in general terms, a BIA is quite safe and it's a cost-efficient method to measure your body composition. And pretty much it's based on the difference in resistance when an electrical current is actually conducted through fat or lean components of the body. Basically, after the initial weigh-in, all I have to do is grip some handles by which an electrical current will be sent through, and thus the analysis is then printed from the scale. And pretty much the results are gathered from the premise that fat acts as an insulator in the body, whereas your fat-free mass acts as a conductor within the body. Just glossing over the categories, you can immediately see some that are quite explanatory, just like weight here. It's just your regular weight. For fat mass, it's going to take into account your actual fat that is causing that weight. And so your fat mass percentage is derived from your fat mass divided by your weight. So as you might expect, that will be a general trend for all of their percentages, considering that you're going to take the mass of that particular category and just dividing it by your overall weight. For the next category, we have the fat-free mass or fat-free body weight. This literally just refers to all of your body elements except fat, and it comprises from your body's water, the organs, bone, and muscle mass. That being said, one thing I noticed about my results is that this scale doesn't actually include the weight of your water into the fat-free mass. It just sort of allocates it into its own category, being your total body water. Before moving on to muscle mass, I'm going to make a quick pin right here on fat-free mass and fat mass. There's a general guideline that you can let yourself go by, which is to keep it into a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 being the fat-free mass and 1 being fat mass. It's just going to help you keep a pretty healthy balance overall. Now, on to the next ones. Muscle mass and total body water are both quite self-explanatory. They're just going to be the measurement of weight in muscle and in water respectively, as well as the percentages for each of those categories respectively. And just a quick note on the total body water, the recommended is 73% for healthy non-obese adults. I'm currently drinking around 1 gallon of water per day since I'm going to the gym, but I'll try to intake more water to see if it changes anything, or just look up into better ways to increase your total body water in a healthy way, because I'm not trying to mess myself up, you know? Bone mass is also quite self-explanatory. It's just the weight of your bones. And for my uses, it won't be too relevant because it's not really decreasing or anything, which is what I should be looking out for. So I won't really be paying too much attention to the bone mass for now. Now, moving on to arguably the most important would be my BMR. My BMR is currently at 2,900, which is not too great. Typically, for my size, you would want it to be at around 3,500 or so. And pretty much the only way to increase your BMR is eating more frequently and just eating proper foods so that you can keep your metabolism working as much as possible. The metabolic age just dictates how your metabolism is behaving. In my case, I'm 25, but my metabolism behaves as if I had 40 years old. So it's definitely something that I have to work on if I want to improve my quality of life. So by the end, we have the ideal body weight, which is not necessarily a law, but just a recommendation of sorts. I'm never going to go for 180. I'd like to stay within the 200s, but that's just me personally. But you do want to go as close as possible to your ideal body weight. And for the cherry on top, we've got a reading on the degree of obesity as well, which is pretty much derived from your body mass index or BMI. And it's based on your height and body weight. So it's going to vary from person to person. In my case, my current BMI is at 38, and it was sitting higher. I believe it reached 44 or 45 at one point. So it's definitely been progressing, but it's nowhere near enough. Now, for the final category, we have the degree of obesity. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to pull up a definition taken from the National Library of Medicine, just to make sure that we're on the same page. According to the library, obesity is a status with body weight that is grossly above the recommended standards, usually due to accumulation of excess fats in the body. The standards may vary with age, sex, genetic, or cultural background. The body mass index, a BMI greater than 30 kilograms per squared meter, is considered obese. BMI greater than 40 kilograms per squared meter is considered morbidly obese. So that just sort of serves as a guideline to pretty much understand what this result is reflecting at all. Pretty much just stating that for my height and for my weight and the amount of fat that I have, I am quite literally, let me see if we find it, I'm quite literally 75% obese, which is great because I was 83% obese 2 weeks ago. So I've definitely progressed a little bit, okay? The visceral fat rating is quite simple. It just has to do with the amount of fat that is surrounding your organs. Even though I do not have the exact weight that is surrounding the organ, I do have a unit. In this case, for me, is 16, which is great because 2 weeks ago it was at 19, so I have improved. But in general sense, it's not too great because the scale does recommend it to be at 13, so I also have to be working on that as well. And pretty much the lower half of the BIA has to do with some indicators that are putting the actual numbers into a visual representation, as well as some ideal ranges for your fat percentage and your fat mass. In my particular case, my fat percentage is standing at 36%. My ideal range is going to stand at around from 8 to 19.9%. As for my fat mass, it's currently at 114 pounds. I want to bring that to about between 17 and 50 pounds. So as you can tell, I've got quite a lot of work to do. So I definitely think that I'll be sticking to this uploading schedule for now, in which I'll do bi-weekly updates for the training brackets and a weekly video for the BIA analysis, as well as other educational topics that I could cram into the video. We'll just go from there. All right, so that pretty much does it. That's it for the video. If you've seen this far, thank you for bearing my camera issues with focusing. It is currently nighttime, and despite how many lighting sources I have in front of me, this camera does not seem to be liking them. So I'll have to look into using another one or just recording within the daytime. I think to circumvent that, I'll just be recording more in the mornings, even if I don't have much. See, there it's doing it again. Even if I don't have much time or energy to do so, I think for the sake of simplicity and quality, I should just be recording in the daytime so I don't have to deal with, camera issues in the foreseeable future. That pretty much does it for this video. Like I said, I will be adding my sources in the description in case anyone wants to do a further search. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like. If there's any suggestions for the channel or just content you would like to see, be sure to leave it in the comments. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.